Could they actually have? Number one, could they actually have? I already discussed this in the gaming channel. And he better say that cold ass line in the game. Probably not, because this Joel is a bitch.
Then I was supposed to die. That was my purpose. My life would have fucking mattered, but you took that from me. You took it from everyone.
No, they took that from you because they didn't ask you. If they would have said yeah, and then you made up that story.
But if somehow I had a second chance.
Okay,
at that
cool.
moment,
Okay. I do it all over again. Stand on that shit.
I would do it all over again.
Because you're selfish.
Oh my. Neil Druckmann, get the fuck out my ear, bro. Get the hell out my ear, Neil. They didn't want it. Oh, well. Is that considered having Isabella in episode? If they show, like, the different angle? Hold on. Do you get paid for the episode that you're in? Or do you get paid for the day you film? Because they could have just filmed that whole thing that same day. And then took that footage. Like, bro, come on. We know how these studios work, man. Take that footage from that episode, and then you're watching and you're like, oh, damn, they cut the scene. Ah, that's some bullshit. And then you see it in this episode now. Probably the only people who know what's going on is maybe Pedro and Bella. And probably the actors for Gail and Tommy. But yeah. Hold on. Cause you know what I'm saying, you could have shown of like, oh, they probably didn't want to show Tommy back at the theater, or unless Tommy is going to do what he's doing with his little sniper mission. But hold on. Next time on The Last of Us. I wanted to see the, you know, interpretation of you know, oh hey, I made her talk, and she gotta hold that. Listen, y'all seen my playthrough. Okay. Every single person, in some form of fashion, whether it be present through flashbacks, through seeing Abby's side of the story, wherever it may fall in line, every single person deserves what they got. Besides maybe Leah, we don't know much about her. That other guy, but I don't know much about him. The guy that Tommy beat on, but it's not in the show because they said fuck him. So you wouldn't understand who I'm talking about if you didn't see the show. Leah, Jordan, and that other guy, that Asian guy, they're not in the show. So, but everyone has deserved what they got. I think the only person so far that seeming like they're not gonna, unless they change things with other characters in the future or their flashbacks, that seems like they're not gonna deserve what they get, is Manny. And Manny was one who deserved. Hey, I wanted to body Manny more than Abby. Now, I don't want to get into the game. Who knows? This show just changes everything. But towards the end of the story with Owen, complete lunacy. When this video goes up, or at least what I'm thinking by the time this video goes up, see my last stream. And then when it comes out as a video, it might be like part 14 or 15 or something like that. 13, 14, 15. Around those parts when I have them as videos. You see what happens. The gaming channel description down below. You'll see happens with Owen. Sir, you are an idiot, dude. You're one of the people I was like, okay, he's kind of decent. And then we go into the flashbacks, and it just makes even less sense. And I'm like, wow, this guy's an idiot. Wow, he's stupid, bro. What a stupid man. What a stupid simp. I mean, Caitlyn's a better person to simp over, but still. Also, you got a kid on the way. By not Abby. What are you talking about, bro? And then the situation with Mel. I mean, Mel, you can literally just, y'all like omitting a lot of things. You could just omit a little bit of things, add a little bit of more things, and we can still rock with Mel. You can still rock with Abby, but it's, I mean, okay. There's a couple things that make Abby don't work. The ending. Probably what I'm about to see in this next time on. What happens around that point. All right, listen, hey, I'm gonna be as vague as possible, but like I can't be super vague so you not know what I'm talking about. We gonna get what we gonna get right here, and then how it's gonna be, which is complete lunacy, bars. Which they had a chance to fix in the show, which was the biggest problem in the game, which I talked about in every single time I posted this video on YouTube. We're gonna get what we're gonna get, and then we're gonna have season 3 be Abby. It's not gonna be, there's no Joel, unless there's a flashback, and there's no Ellie until we get to the very end of episode 7. That's what it's gonna be. Y'all had a chance to fix it, y'all didn't fix it. This is a media where it's like, ooh, okay. So one of the issues was, with Abby, was when you play through this part, when you get to this part at the end of probably what's going to be this last episode, when you get to that part a second time, because you got to go through Abby's story. When you get to that part, that's one of the dumbest moments that you can't get on Abby's side. Nora, that little bitch who got what he deserved. Oh yeah, okay. Hey, I wasn't really. Hey, I'm on that timing now. Don't fuck with me. Manny spitting on his body. He didn't do that in the show, so he could still be cool. They were trying to give him a lot of screen time in the game. Now knowing the show, they probably gonna give the screen time to Mel. You know. But let's go see this next time on, man. The season finale.
It's for good luck.
These people are shooting each other, ripping each other's guts out. I am not dying out here.
We're just gonna let it play through, and then we gonna like go down piece by piece.
War.
Oh, well, hey, that's the. No, all right. I don't know why it's a 40-second video, but you're only getting this a little bit. Okay, let's go. Let's. We ain't gonna go really completely piece by piece. We got stuff to talk about. If you want to see the full reaction, check out the Patreon. And if you're watching this on Patreon, I'm gonna rehash some of the things I was talking about at the beginning of the reaction, bro. All right. So my guess is Tommy probably heard something on the radio. I don't know. Maybe Tommy went this way. I forgot what he said. That's my bad. I forgot what Jesse said. It didn't make sense of how like they just magically found him at a theater, whatever. Anyways, they found him at the theater. Tommy went somewhere and Jesse went somewhere. They didn't pull up at the same time is the point. Okay, so Tommy However, he hears about whatever's going on, and then he goes to have his little marina moment.
People are shooting each other.
Is that the guard that we seen in another episode? Looks like he's interrogating his own scar. Okay. That's looking like Ellie's pulling up on a boat to go to the aquarium.
Rip each other's guts out.
Oh, maybe this is her pulling up on the shores of the aquarium.
Guts out. I am
Okay, kid scar.
dying out here. Dying out here.
Something just looked weird for a second.
Dying out here. Dying out here.
Okay, for a second it looked like his like eyes moved like Spider-Man's mask for a second. I was like, what the fuck? They look robotic. Don't make it anything racist, bro. Because that's not what I meant.
This is not our war.
But yeah, this is probably the last scene of the season. We gonna talk about that in a second. I'm trying to see how do we do this? Because the reason I'm making that face, if y'all don't play the game, this is what Abby goes through. Now unless you want to recreate it, but no, but like that's how for me, an interesting aspect. Whether the execution is a different story, but an interesting aspect is introduced to the story. So unless you're like, let's just do it twice, that's gonna be kind of whack. But I do like the change of her getting hit with an arrow instead, because I just found it completely strange of how, like, now granted it is the apocalypse, end of the world, cordyceps, this, that, the third, but like how it's like, oh, I'm pregnant, not showing pregnant, I'm pregnant, and like she's just like this sickly human being. Listen, if she was showing and doing like, I mean, we can't even say, look at Mel, bro. Now Mel's in the community right now, but I just found that was a dumb way to incapacitate her. Yep, and then you can see the Ferris wheel from the aquarium. Or near the aquarium. Alright, so that's that. Let me see what any comments. I hope you do a letter. I didn't really care for that little better than me. Like it could have hit crazy, but they didn't execute things previously that would have made it better. Tommy never saw Joe again in the new year. Alright. So, basically what I was saying before I started this reaction is I just loaded it up. I just loaded up the website. I looks over. I see an hour episode. Now, you're like, what does that mean? There's so many things to go from this. And you might be like, oh, why? Oh, people are always just complaining. Okay, there's things that I'm like, this is trash. And I just like, let's say if we're talking about music, and sorry if this is your favorite artist, it is what it is. She got to catch this straight. Let's just look at two artists, matter of fact, that got popularity in the last couple years. Ice Spice and Sexy Red. Ice Spice, music's trash. The shit's trash. Like, she can make like a 10-second that sound kind of cool, but like if you're listening to the whole song, now from what I've heard, there could be a song out there. It's like, hold on, she gotta, shit's trash. I don't really care for the afro, but like besides that, I'm like, oh, she looks good. Like, okay, cool. It pains me that like anytime I have to say Sexy Red because that's like who everyone knows her as. But like, I hate having to call her that because the bitch looks like Young Thug in a wig. Young Thug in a wig with titties, bro. Music's trash, and she don't look good. And the people who say she look good, come on, you smashing anything, my guy. You're smashing anything, my guy. Y'all be the ones who see those, okay, I am putting this part on YouTube, so I gotta, like, see those, like, I don't know how to see those Autobots, if you catch my drift, and be like, looks woman enough to me. Hey, I ain't going, my guy. Simple. Not going at all. You gotta catch me. There's this thing I saw. I'm not about to get into that. It had me thinking of like this random hypothetical. I would get into it, but I don't know how to like censor it on the spot. But the reason I bring those artists up is because if someone's like I can say their music's trash or I don't like their music, I'm not going to listen to them. So I'm just going to be quiet. It's like when I'll be playing a game and channel description down below, because, this is also tying into a game. Like, for instance, I'll be raging when I was playing Marvel Spider-Man 2. I love Spider-Man. I had a Spider-Man shirt on yesterday, so I kind of looked at I was like, oh shit, nah, I'm wearing Dragon Ball Z today. But, I love Spider-Man. I love the first game. Miles Morales should have just been a DLC. And there's aspects in the second game that was pissing me off. So, like, it's frustrating because it's like, man, you're almost perfect. If it's trash, I'm just not gonna associate with it. Oh, I don't like that. That should look trash. I'm not about to mess with that. Nigga started lagging. But this, I talked about it. I don't remember if I said it in the episode or I think I said it during the reactions. I'm trying to remember what I said for Patreon and what I already said for YouTube. But if someone says this game is a masterpiece, 10 out of 10, there's not a single flaw, and I bring up pace and they say there's nothing wrong with the pace, I'm just not going to talk to them. I'm not talk to them, but like, we have nothing more to discuss. Because even if you're like, everything else is perfect and you don't acknowledge the pace, that's like trying to argue with an idiot. Like, bro, you're going to be an idiot yourself because you're not going to accomplish anything in that discussion. And I'm not one of these people. I think this was during the reaction. I'm not one of these people. Like, for instance, spoiler alert for reason I said it, we'll get to that in a second. I'm gonna tie that back into it. But spoiler alert for The Walking Dead season 7. Season 7. People who said, I stopped watching after Glenn died. Then you're just a pussy, bro. I don't like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, this is a post-apocalyptic show. I'm gonna make a video in the future talking about, I'm gonna clickbait it, so you don't get the loads. It's gonna be clickbait of why I hate Daryl, but I don't hate Daryl. It's just, I don't like, Daryl is not entertaining after, like, past season 4. He has his moments, but it's just like, well, this guy's never gonna die, so what do I care? Then the moment I was like, oh, they're actually doing it. Hold on, let's go. This is my, okay, let's go, Daryl. Even though I disagree with you at this particular moment, okay. Hey, I know what you feeling right now. Let's go. He's alive. How? What happened? So it's just like, it's not entertaining. He can do it. He can fight like, 100 men versus one gorilla. All you got to do is send Daryl Dixon. Send Daryl Dixon against 1,000 gorillas. Daryl's winning apparently. So like, it's just not entertaining. So you're watching post-apocalyptic shows and you're scared of people's death. So I don't get that. Like, especially with the hypocrisy of like, now granted, people, the main character, I guess another spoiler alert. Main character, this one's in the first season, bro. It is what it is. What's his fucking name? Of Ned Stark. Listen, it was more of an ensemble thing, so I didn't really look at him as the main character. I looked at him as one of the main characters. Like, The Walking Dead is Rick's story. The Last of Us is Joel and Ellie. But certain shows, they might have like 3-4 main characters, and then some shows are just ensemble. So that's kind of how I looked at like Game of Thrones. So the reason I bring that up is because I'm not one of these people who went into The Last of Us expected. The only thing that pissed me off about it is because I'm going to hold it to him to this day. Bro, the game came out like 1 or 2 days ago. Thumbnail of Joel against the window. You might want to return this game, Berleezy. That shit pissed me off, bro. I'm like, dude. Now if I'm playing this on my off time, like, damn, that sucks. But now I gotta like go into the game knowing he's gonna die within the first couple hours. I knew he was probably gonna die within the story at some point. It was just gonna be depending on what point. That's like if you get pissed at, why did Ben Kenobi die in New Hope? This Star Wars sucks. I mean, you can say Star Wars sucks now because it's Disney Star Wars, but like the original trilogy, the George Lucas Star Wars, if you're saying it sucks because Ben Kenobi died right there, that sucks, then it's like, what are you talking about? But there's no stakes. Go watch a sitcom. So I was not one of these people who were like, well, since Joel died, it sucked, and he was the guy at the beginning of... Now, I would have preferred if we had, like, a couple hours playtime Joel. Like, maybe we start this game. This is what should have happened. The trailer should have dropped, and it should have been Abby doing a whole different story. Right? Have her do something. Forget all her flashbacks right now. Have her have a story with the wolves. So now you see this other crew. And then you have like, let's have her like have something going on with the wolves, not Scar related. And then you have the trailer show Ellie going through something with the scars, and then you can kind of like show like pieces of Joel of like he has his own little story. And so basically, when you get the game, you're playing with 3 characters. You're playing with Joel, Ellie, and Abby. And then you're like, the end of Abby's little section, like maybe her section's like a couple hours, like you got acclimated. You're like, okay, I kind of like her. And then Owen comes up, I got a tip. She's like, no way. You got him? I don't want to say found him because that might give it away, but like something that's kind of like boom, and then you cut it there. And then maybe you can do like how you had a certain reveal in Game of Thrones, and then like, I got a lead, and then they cut to Joel's part. Then you have Joel's little playthrough. Like, meanwhile, you're like, damn, you're not really, you got these little bits and pieces of Ellie, but like it's more like transitional parts, right? You play 2 hours of Abby, 2 hours of Abby, 20 minutes of Ellie, 2 hours of Joel, 20 minutes of Ellie, 2 hours of Abby, and then they start to like intersect, and then you're just kind of like, wait, she's around Jackson. Oh shit, hold up. You cut some of the scenes out, And y'all like doing flashbacks, then you fill all of that in. But no, y'all did it how y'all did it. And the biggest problem with that, as I talked about at the beginning of the video when I was talking about it on Patreon, don't worry, we're gonna get to the runtime in a second. Matter of fact, let's just do it right now. The thing that's just idiotic about it, see, the entire series, unless it's different for the finale of the season, but so far, the entire series, the longest episode, had absolutely no, you had a majority of the episode are about Bill and Frank. That's my guy. I was waiting to see the interactions with him and Ellie. Didn't get that. Waiting to see the traps, that like Joel getting hit with some of the traps. I didn't get to see that. And just for it not to matter. And then I made the comparison in season 1. I said, and it's kind of ironic that we got Pedro Pascal. I said, this is like when the Book of Boba Fett. Now that's a different story because one was a superior. You already had an established thing. But if you're watching this and you don't know the game, you don't know who Bill and Frank is, bro. But remember how it was Book of Boba Fett, but then there was Mandalorian season 2.5? We're just no Boba Fett for like 2 episodes until they had Mandalorian come through and try to save his show. That's how it was, bro. So that was the longest episode. It had nothing to do with that. And then it was kind of like flashbacks, and then like you could have kind of salvaged a little bit if maybe Bill tried to do it, but then it wasn't successful, and then like after it already happened and he had to put down Frank himself, like he was not able to like do it, like he wasn't able to commit to ending it. And then they had interactions and it was like, damn, that fuck, dude, that hurts, bro. But no, y'all did what y'all did, and then like y'all had the longest episode have nothing to do with the main story and characters. Just they had to get a vehicle from there. Then we get this episode. Flashbacks. Majority flashbacks. I try to be generous and give y'all 80% flashbacks. I said that at the beginning. Patreon description down below. I said that at the beginning. No, y'all literally did 99%. We had 45 seconds of Ellie pulling back up to the theater. Now you're like, oh, okay. Because, like I said, the biggest problem, and you can't sit there and say, you just didn't like the second. No. It's frustrating because the second game could have actually been a masterpiece instead of, like, I'm not people who, this is masterpiece, and I'm not people who's like, it's the worst thing ever. I'm like, hey, it's frustrating that if you just fix these couple things, then it could have been a masterpiece. Visuals, audio, 10 out of 10 banger. Gameplay, fantastic. Besides clickers just randomly turning around and they just like love to finesse on some BS like that, you know, exquisite. 10 out of 10, bro. Now I'm gonna be honest. Those type of games, and then the Uncharted, like if I watch people like play games, but I watch them play those type of games and I'm like, it doesn't interest me. But like playing it, it's fun as hell, dude. It's fun. But the biggest there's a couple problems here and there. You can agree and disagree, but the two biggest problems, the ending, but one even more than that is the pace. Now, what I was talking about within the game. Now they could change these couple things. We see. Okay, hold up. Did Ellie kill anyone in the show so far? There's no Jordan. There's no Leah. At this point, they died. We don't even really get to talk to Leah anyway. She's a random character. I don't even know if she has a voice actress. I don't even know if she has dialogue. So, like, she might have had random dialogue when Joel and Tommy pulled up, because that's who pulled up in the game. But basically, when Ellie pulled up, she was already dead. There's no Jordan. There's no that random Asian guy. And there's no Leah. Nora. So Nora. Okay. Now. Okay, that's... okay. There's a certain storyline. I'm trying to say this as spoiler-free as possible. But I'm going to be alluding to it. But who knows? You might see this. You could just watch this, because who knows? You might see this and then hear... Because they're not going to show Abby stuff until season 3. So you'll forget that I even spoke about this by the time season 3 comes out. But there's a storyline that happens. But because of what we're going to see in the finale, and because of what we see in the middle of the game, because of how the pacing is, number one, it's like, oh shit, whoa, we're there. When I said I come back to that, when I was talking about The Walking Dead, I was like, y'all didn't learn y'all lesson from certain cliffhangers from The Walking Dead. That's what we're about to have. Just mark my words. But it's like, oh shit, we're here. Let's rewind it. Hey, you're probably wondering how I got here. No, nigga, we're not wondering how you got here. We're wondering what's gonna happen next, bro. Dude, what are you talking about? But anyways, so that's already a problem in the pace. But then we get a couple flashbacks, and then we see what's happening with Abby. And there's a certain plot line, unless they change it. There's a certain plot line, and they're like, "Ooh, whoa, what's going on? This is kind of strange. Whoa, what's this? Man, come on, man. I don't know how to explain it without like trying to like spoil. But like, whoa, I sure hope everything's going on right here. We already know that it's going to go all right, because we already seen what's happening with Ellie. Let's just use Nora for example. It is not going to happen with Nora unless they change something, but it'll be like if in season 3 Abby's like, man, like they had a whole episode of like, what's going on with Nora? Like, she hasn't checked in a while. Like, man, we gotta check on her, man. And like, they're trying to build up this tension. We saw Ellie kill Nora. There's no tension. We don't care. Now it'd be different if like, hey, we're doing 4 hours of Abby, 4 hours of Ellie, and then when it's getting to around the points where like change it a little more frequently towards the end of the story, of when it's like, so now you can kind of be like, oh, Abby's at the hospital, and then Ellie's about to pull up to the hospital, and then like, then we pull up, and then we see what's going on with Abby as Ellie's about to pull up on Nora, and then like, you're like, oh, what if they like interact with each other there, and then they just missed each other or something like that. I'm just trying to give an example, as well as like not trying to spoil certain things if they intend to keep certain things a certain way. But so that's just one example. Or okay, I guess we can talk about this more next week. But if it's all right, hold on, it's like this. We talked about Star Wars. You go and watch through the prequels, you know anything could happen to Padme. They could literally have it where Padme just disassociates with Anakin. Padme could die. Padme can get lost between worlds. Anything could happen with Padme. We know somehow Obi-Wan's in exile. Somehow Yoda's in exile. And somehow Anakin becomes Darth Vader. So like, see, like, it's possible for it to work, but in this sort of sense, because like they're not building up the tension of like Obi-Wan's about to die, Anakin's about to die. Now they might build up the tension of like, oh, Anakin lost his arm, Anakin got shocked by force lightning. So they might have like a little section of danger, but it's not going to be, my bad, it's not going to be focused on this person's about to die. So you can't have us go into reverse and then be scared about the, okay, we know this person has to at least survive here. We know this person has to die here. This person has to be over there. They're safe. They're like, so there's no tension. So congratulations. We're going to go into season 3. And for the first like 3 to 4 episodes, we're going to be like, well, we kind of know what's going to be going on. Just some random skirmishes. That's kind of like the best that I could like do without spoiling. So yeah, I'm trying to think, is there anything else with the pacing? So no tension. We're up to a climax, and then you just go right back, and it's frustrating because I said multiple times, I'm like, wow, this can, you know, you can have like, wow, you can really fix your mistakes, you know? Like, look at, like, I talked about Game of Thrones. There's certain things that George R.R. Martin said was like, he said his, the show Shae was better than his Shae. Or, actually, random question. What do you think's better? Adaptation and then source material, or source material and then adaptation? Me personally, I say adaptation then source material. Because number one, like, let's say it's a book. If it's a book, you can kind of imagine the thing. You can kind of hear the actors voicing your head, and you can kind of see where they're at. As well as they usually take things out the show. So like this, I could just see Bill and Frank, and I was like, oh, that's a good episode. And I go to the game, and I'm like, oh wow, this is what they took out. I can see why people are pissed. So you're kind of let down less. But yeah, I'm in it here, man. That's tough, bro. This is indeed tough. Also, if you're gonna be going and checking out the Patreon, I'll be posting these 2 episodes, like this episode and the next week's episode, and then I'll come back posting every day in June. Gotta get some things settled on, bring it back to streams, but just gotta make sure everything's lined up. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. If you liked the video, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, share it with your friends. Stay tuned for the next one, and I'm out.